TV.
Well, as promised, I'm back. A very good evening to you once again, and glad you joined us for another edition of Sport On. My name is Bernard Ndong. This is finally the final Monday of January. It's been almost 50 days, but finally the month is over, Wakabi. It's been like, what, 5 weeks?
You've counted down these
Yes.
Mondays, Mondays and Saturdays.
Yes.
You're like, it's one more Saturday. Don't worry, it's now over.
Yes,
tomorrow,
finally.
is it tomorrow? Day after tomorrow is
first,
February.
yes.
So the world can start moving
Yes,
again
yes,
for you.
yes.
No, it's been a good week. Bernard, it's been a great week, especially if you like your sports. Mashemeji Derby, big thing, of course, to see what happened in Nairobi. The kind of energy that came out of there was good. And of course, down under, Novak Djokovic making history. He's now 22. He looked unbeatable over the 2 weeks. But for me, it was the women's, because Ariana Sabalenka from Belarus beating a girl who's from Kazakhstan, but whose parents are Russian. It tells you no matter how much people don't want to have to involve Russians and Belarus, they are always around you, but really, really good for her. Yeah. For her to step up and win her first Grand Slam. I think it's been a great weekend for sports.
Absolutely, great weekend for sports. And tonight on the show, we are looking at a very interesting sport. We are hosting an official and some of the players of Kabaddi Kenya. Now, this sport draws its origins from India and has steadily made remarkable growth in the country, with the league set to kick off tomorrow. Wakabi, what do you know about Kabaddi?
I know Kenya is pretty decent in Kabaddi.
Yes.
I've met Zuma before, so I have a rough idea that we are good at it. But I wouldn't sit here and analyze it for you. No. I'm in the group that celebrates when you are told Kenya has won. You go like, that's good. I don't know much about it. Hopefully by the end of tonight, I'll be able to understand a bit more.
Yes.
About how to analyze it, how to understand it, how you score, how you don't score. It's one of those sports that's pretty new. And we seem to be going into pretty new sports in recent past. So hopefully by the end of tonight, I'll be wiser.
Absolutely. And I hope you, the viewer, as well, will be wiser. But of course, the big talking point in terms of local sports was the fact that there was the Mashemeji Derby, as you touched on a bit earlier, where Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards were facing off against each other. The pre-hype to the match was incredible. It was something else. But it actually delivered.
Here's the thing. It's the first time in maybe 5 years. I can say this without fear. It's
and
the
love
first
the images
time,
of that. There we go.
It's the first time since 2016 that we saw this kind of turnout, that we saw the two biggest teams in the country. Because I know, no disrespect to Tusker, but we all know Ingwe and Kogalo are the teams as far as Kenyan football is concerned. So it was incredible to see the numbers come out, to see the buzz on social media, to see the Isukuti dance come out, and the drums and the color and everything that you want. Look, that is a crowd. That's a crowd. Yeah. It just shows you just how much, first of all, how much people want to watch football, how much people want to watch something good, and the connection that Kenyan football has with God and AFC. It helps that the teams are doing well this season, so fans are able to connect with it. But I felt the energy. When you see the teams marching from Nyayo all the way to Kenyatta Avenue, to and fro, and you see the fans and the energy, it reminded me of the good old days. Because if you go back to the last few derbies, they've really been a non-event. But this one, the fans, of course, and also the social media angle to it, everyone wanting to be part of it. It's a pity the game ended in a 0-0 draw. Kogalo didn't have a shot on target, but that's neither here nor there. The fact is, fans want to watch football. Fans are coming out to watch football. And maybe it's a lesson we should all sit back and realize. Kenyans want to watch their game. Maybe the question is, how well do we package their game? How do we make it possible for everyone to come out and follow and push their game? Because the will is there. When you see those numbers, when you see Nyayo that packed, people want to watch football. So how do we give them what they want?
I think the conservative numbers from FKF was that almost close to 10,000 fans were in the stadium, which I think is actually quite commendable, given the fact that we've not been able to have similar numbers in previous derbies, and even the fact that for the past 2 years we've been struggling with COVID-19. And my concern is, how are you able to replicate that across all the other matches and all the other leagues as well? Of course, we don't have the same numbers, but to some extent having a semblance of people being in the stadium, having that same kind of energy, that same of atmosphere.
It's two things. Number one, it's marketing. The Premier League must market the game. There's a reason why we all follow the EPL. The EPL keep us engaged from Monday to Monday, January to December. They make sure at any one time we are thinking about the EPL. They have narratives every single day, whether it's about coaches, whether it's about players, whether it's about transfers. Right now, everyone knows about Casado. Why? They have pushed that narrative over and over again. Our league needs to be able to do that. Marketing football is a full-time job. You have to be able to market various narratives and make people to stay involved in it. The clubs also must do more. You have to do what AFC Leopards has done. What you saw, those numbers, is not by chance. Leopards have been very good at this for the last 1 year, 2 years, where they're really pushing for, let's have our fans come together, let's all go to the stadium. You've got to do that. And of course, the football has to be a product that you want to watch. You have to give people something that they want to watch. And the last one, which is the easiest, is devolve it. If you've been to a game in Kisumu, a game in Awendo, a game in Kakamega, the stadium is packed because people want to watch. Just package it in a way that everyone will enjoy it. Package it in a way that people will want to follow. Create these storylines that we can follow from Monday to Monday. We want to know, so this happened in Mashemeji Derby, so what will happen next week and what will happen the other week? It's got to be a full-time marketing job. What we see with the EPL is not by chance. They design it. Yes. They have storylines every single week about something. The transfer window, they make it our business, even though we are thousands of miles away, thousands of kilometers away. So it's the same kind of thing. Make a package something into something people want to watch. Kenyans will watch because we like a good thing. We just want to be shown why it is good.
Right, and that's the question that we're asking you as the viewer. What more can be done to attract fans back into the stadium after the Mashemeji Derby success? What more can be done to attract fans back into the stadium after Mashemeji Derby's success? Send in your feedback at Bernard Ndong, at Jay Wakabi, at NTV Kenya. You can also share your sentiments on NTV Kenya's Facebook page, as well as Instagram, and as well as an Insta story. You can respond to that particular question, and we'll be sharing your feedback in the course of this program. Wakabi, it's time for us now to go to school, somewhat. I think for me, the first time I was introduced to Kabaddi was about 11 years ago, and I think...
you've had a decade.
Yes, about 11 years ago.
You should know a lot more about it.
But still, I'm still trying to learn it, and it's good to have, of course, some representatives of the sport. Daniel, thank you so much. Lavender and Hagai. I'll start with Hagai. You're the captain of the Kenya Kabaddi team. I think the first question I need to understand about Kabaddi is there's the circular Kabaddi. What's the difference between the circular Kabaddi and what you guys do, which is the rectangular Kabaddi? Or is it one big family?
Okay, Kabaddi is Kabaddi. They are all Kabaddi, but there is circle Kabaddi and there is rectangular Kabaddi. Circle Kabaddi mostly is played outside, maybe on a circle ring, and there is this the one that we are playing is called standard Kabaddi, Olympic Kabaddi, which is played in a rectangular field. And mostly it's played. It can be played outside. It can be played in the indoor. But nowadays it's modernized, and that's why you find it in the indoor arena, played in the somewhere in a soft mat, like the ones for taekwondo, and it's the one that we've been demonstrated in the Olympic. That's the difference between the circle Kabaddi and the rectangle Kabaddi. Even the format of play is different. Yeah, you find that the other circle Kabaddi, you find maybe huge people and without even standard weight control and stuff like that. But this one is controlled, even like boxing, with the weight category and age category also.
What do you mean controlled? Let's talk about the rectangle one that is controlled. What do you mean controlled? Do you have specific weights for specific players?
Yes, like you find like a junior team, it's like 75 kgs and below, like 21 and below. And then the senior teams is like 85 kgs and below. You can be in between 75 and 85 kgs, so that you can attend the standard of the senior team. And ladies is always from 65 kgs to in between 65 kgs to 75. So it's controlled with weight and a standard of play.
How many players play in each side? How many players play? How do you do your substitutes?
Okay, in a standard match, it is 12 players, 7 on the pitch and 5 on the bench side. So it's a revival game. You start with the 7 aside. It's mostly like a 7 aside, and then you have like 5 substitutes. Yeah.
I think I'm interested in finding out, why did you take up this sport? Do you have a background in a different sport? Because one thing I noticed is, in the past decade, you find people have been playing different disciplines. Some would say it has similarities to wrestling, a bit of rugby, a bit of martial arts, somewhat a bit of judo. Did you play another sport before then you took up Kabaddi?
Oh yes, I've played football a better part of my.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I was a footballer,
Okay.
and I hoped I was so much into sport. Actually, let me say I was so much into sport. I used to play football, volleyball, and handball. Then I happened to meet Laventa. You know her. I happened to meet Laventa back in 2016. Then she introduced me into Kabaddi. So with time, after like 1 year, then I had to swap from football to Kabaddi, because I saw maybe Kabaddi had a future for me compared to football. You know, football is so much flocked. Very many people are playing football, and it's so hard to get opportunities in football.
You played until what level in football? Then you decided to shift.
I used to play in school.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe I thought I would play it after school. Then I happened to meet Laventa. Then she introduced me into Kabaddi. Yeah.
So what is it about it that you like? What is it about Kabaddi that you enjoy? Other than, of course, the opportunity, and I'm assuming the money, what is it about the sport that you enjoy?
Kabaddi is so interesting. It's for Kabaddi is for what can I say?
I don't know. Find the word.
I'm trying to find this.
I can help him. Like Kabaddi is a unique game that just to add on what he has said, that is not a flocked field like with so many players, but Kabaddi is an interesting game that you come to learn a lot, and mostly you find in Kenya we don't have the versatile games that are being groomed up to the par, that are up to the standard, but you can find Kabaddi. Kenyan, you are naturally born athlete, and you find that when Kenyans want, they are not only even in football or volleyball, the usual games, but now when Kabaddi was introduced, that's why you find it it's performing very well, because it's just previous players from other fields that just like you said. Like for example, for me, I come from a football family. Duncan Ochieng is the dad. And all that I came.
Which one? Which Dan can I tell you?
Got the goalkeeper.
Ah, my man. You are sporting royalty.
Yeah. We control the country, my friend.
You are sporting royalty.
Yes, it's in the gene. It's in the gene. So you find I've played even in the top clubs in Kenya Premier League.
Really?
Madara,
Which club did you play?
Madara United.
Okay.
Yes.
No. If your father is Duncan Ochieng, my man, I do not doubt you for 1 minute.
So you find, for me, I really wanted to make an impact into the sport field. Like you find that people like Duncan are ahead of me. What legacy can I leave anymore? So I have to find my own way and my own channel.
You've said that like you played, of course, like your situation is slightly different because you actually played in a top club in the country.
Yes.
What made you decide, let me try something totally unconventional? This is completely unconventional.
Okay, my turning point came in when I got an injury a knee injury from the soccer. So when I was recovering is when I met the lady, our president, Madam Laventa, and told me, like, why are you not playing soccer anymore? Coach Kimanzi is looking for you everywhere. Like, why are you not going for training? And then I told her, after recovering from the injury, I'm really mentally disturbed. Like, how can I recover and gain my top class level at the soccer? And then she said, there is this game that we're introducing into this country that is called Kabaddi. Can you give it a try? She called me several times, because I didn't know about the game. So when I gave it a thought, and when I was home, and then I said, let me give it a thought, and then I went to the YouTube, studied, and they discovered that it's an interesting game. Then that's the time I joined the training. Yeah.
Laventa, our apologies. Should have started with you, ladies first. Tell us a bit about the season. You know the season is starting tomorrow. Just a little bit about it. How ready are you guys ready to make sure that you have a great season like starting tomorrow?
So we are all set for the whole month tournament. Like, it's a league that is going to run for the whole February, starting from tomorrow. We already have our teams ready. We have 24 teams ready to perform.
Okay.
We have our girls team to cut and raise for the boys, because we don't really have female teams as at now. We only have the AP police as the female team currently in Kenya right now, but we are still working on it in the universities and in the county government.
How does it work? Sorry, how does it work in terms of is this the first time that the league is being held, or there have been previous leagues? How is this league going to work? It's 1 month. So just want to understand, it's 24 teams. How is it? What is it, a round robin?
No, it's 12 teams. It's supposed to be 24 teams when it's 12 for females and 12 for male. Okay. So we are going to have like 5 teams play per day, and the match takes like 40 minutes full time, and like it's like an hour. Like you have to schedule and prepare the teams like an hour before they perform. So we already have everything set.
What venues are you using? Where do
so right now we're using Arena at Kasarani Stadium. Yeah.
Also, everyone comes to Kasarani and we play.
Yeah.
Danka, I'm surprised that's you said what? There's 12 teams. Each team has how many players?
7 players.
7 players. So you've got almost 100 players coming together.
Yeah.
Yes.
For one weekend. That's big.
Actually, the
for a whole
rules,
month.
The rules changed. Previously, our whole team consisted of 12 players, I mean. But now it's changed to 14 players. So 7 inside, 7 substitutes.
Outside.
Yeah.
And how many subs can you make?
You can make 5 substitutes, but if you make 3 at a go, that is considered as one substitute. So you can make 3 substitutes at once. It is considered at one substitute.
Yes. Can you come out and go back?
Yeah, you can come out and go back.
Like basketball.
Yes.
So you come in, your role goes. Do you have attackers? Do you have defenders? Do you have?
Yes.
Yeah, the attackers, we call them raiders.
Yes, those ones. Sorry, my apologies. Raiders, yes. It's the football in me. It's Mashemeji Dabi.
Yeah, so the attackers, we call them raiders and
Yes.
defenders.
And defenders.
In a Kabaddi field, we have 7 players. Mostly we have 4 defenders and 3 raiders. Yeah. So 3 raiders, they are responsible for going to take the point from the opponent side. Yeah, it's their work to go and look for the point from the other side. But unless the raiders are out, they're out of the pitch, the defenders can go and raid. The defenders can now go and search for the phone.
So you, what are you? You're a defender or a raider?
I'm an all-rounder. I can defend, I can raid, but I do raiding mostly I do raiding.
And you?
Me, I'm a defender. But when the team, maybe like you say, it's a revival game, and maybe the raiders are all out, so that's when I take responsibility to go and try to revive our raiders.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when the sport was introduced in Kenya, and what was fascinating was almost immediately Kenya was competing at the top level.
Yeah.
I think the team competed at the World Cup at one particular point.
Yes, yes.
And you actually shocked the world. Like,
yes.
How was that for Kenya? How did it feel competing in a very unconventional sport and reaching almost the top level? How was it the perception? What do people think? Because you're from Africa. This is a sport that's not traditionally from this part of the world.
It's true. It was a shock, and it was a shock for the world, and also for Kenyans, and also for players ourselves, because that was our first match international, and we were going for the World Cup, you know. So we were called, like the African team was being introduced, so there were no qualifications, this Kenyan team.
Which year was that?
2016. Yeah, so that the country was being introduced, like Africans are playing Kabaddi, and to shock it was a major thing in India. I think they were from the airport to the field, it was all traffic, because they didn't know that there are Africans who are playing Kabaddi. So it was like a traffic from the hotel, from the airport to the hotel, and the fans were flocking into the hotel. They want to see the Kenya team, and then we were somehow overwhelmed, and we said that we want to give out our best. Of course, we didn't have the much up to the par skills and all that, because we were learning from the YouTube and all, self-trained, it was just the kujituma in us, in the Kenyans, like
maybe just, I don't know if there were any interesting incidences that happened in that particular time, and also Mulifika, what level? Where did you reach in that World Cup?
First of all, when we went there, we were thinking that this kabaddi tunataka kugonga, like we were there, we went to the gym, we were all masculine up there, and then when we reached there, we played a first friendly with a university league, like a junior team. We were given like a trial. Then that when we knew that kabaddi is totally different from only strength. So, it always requires much skills and more of also gym work, because it's both strength and condition. Because when you have good muscle, when your body is impacted, you get less injuries. So that was our first advantage of us, because we were muscle iko hapo, strength mentally that we want to prove, because we were invited as underdog.
You see, you talk about skill, and someone might ask, what are those skills one has to have to be successful in kabaddi? What are those specific things, other than, of course, being fit and flexible, I'm assuming, and fast?
Like, as you can see in kabaddi, there is a certain pattern that is played. You see people holding hands, and one they call it raider, attacking the other one. You see people holding hands, trying to move, making movements. So those skills, they are just not that you go and touch a point and just come back. There is a certain formula, like there is a way. That's why you find a raider raiding on a sideways, facing the center line, because you have to touch and come to the center line, and then the defense has to move in a certain way. They protect each other. That C shape is formed to protect each other, so that when you come to touch this person is covering you. When you come to touch this person is covering you. So you tend to see the movement of the C shape. Yeah, it's just for protection, for protecting each player.
You just have to know the rules.
How much do you do? What do you have to do to get ready? Like now, season is starting tomorrow. What kind of work have you been putting in for the last month?
Okay, I think there's no shortcut for this. You just have to work. You just have to work for it. You just have to practice well. You cannot just come from home to come and play.
Like, what do you do? What's some of the exercises you have got to do to make sure you are ready? Well, is it, do you go to the gym? Do you run? What do you do?
Well, for me, I go to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week, and we go for mat practice. For the kabaddi practice, we go like 4 times a week. So I have to wake up in the morning and go for mat practice. Maybe in the evening, then I go for gym workouts. Yeah, for me to be fit. And for kabaddi practice, for me to get more skills and get used to it. Yeah.
Right. We'll continue the conversation. We want to take a very short break. And remember, the question we're asking with something totally different to the topic we're having today on the show. We're asking you, related to what happened in the Mashemeji Derby over the weekend, what more can be done to attract fans back into the stadium after the Mashemeji Derby success? I believe we have one feedback we can maybe perhaps look at. We have one. There we go. This is Brian and Lovu Edapo. Sounds very South African. Peace is good. Tupendane kama wa Kenya. Also, tuahimiza
vidosho waje kwa game kwa wingi. Hiyo itatuleta pamoja. He's combined many things in one. Yeah, he wants the fairer sex to come.
He has a different agenda.
Says let's stay in peace. It makes sense. Then Jackson Duarte says wapikange lunch kwa kila game. Watu wakisikia kuna chakula watakuja kwa wingi. That one I don't know. I'm assuming there's normally food to buy in the stadium. Yeah. Omwami Aloy says big sound system, bring in some local and international artists. Now these are people thinking forward and thinking the things you can do.
That carnival atmosphere kind of thing.
Yeah, so that it's not just the 90 minutes. There's something to do. Can you imagine if there was someone with rumba or benga as the build up to the game, so that people can come to the stadium early on?
Something like a concert.
Exactly. After, so you're in at 11, and then you can dance and listen to a bit of music. Then at 3 p.m. you watch.
Richard Nyangweso says lunch na refreshments pia wadada waje itakuwa. We were very interesting.
No, there's a push. They want the ladies to come and watch football.
Yes, but they're there. They have their supporters. And then we have Okuku Michael. You say our league is no longer competitive and entertaining to pull crowds. They should benchmark with other leagues that Tanzania's league is currently doing. But I do agree with this particular sentiment, because if you, especially when we have the Karioko Derby, Simba versus Yanga, it's something else. The whole of Dar es Salaam comes to a standstill, and I think.
I agree, but here's the thing. It's taken time. It takes time, and you have to build a culture. Now, we cannot overcome the fact that in this country, other than between 2008 and 2016, where we had proper football, remember again, from the year 2000 to the year 2007, we had 2 leagues. We had the ICCG League and we had the government-backed league. And then we've had 9 years of sobriety, and then we went back into problems. So it's something we have got to build on. Yes, it's not as competitive as it used to be. Yes, it could be better, but we have got to build on it. You have got to start from somewhere. And last weekend was something. The fact that you had 10,000 fans coming to the stadium, I think that's a good thing.
Right, we take a very short break. We're back with much more on Sport On. Stay tuned.
Centum Real Estate brings to you 265 Elma 1 Apartments, the newest and most stylish development in Kasarani. Pay a deposit of 250,000 Kenya shillings and the balance in flexible installments or mortgage finance.
Kidani Mabati Roofing Tips. Did you know a proper roofing should be durable and affordable?
Kidani Mabati, located along the Eastern Bypass, Kamakis, have you in mind with amazing offers. We also have a Lipa Pole Pole option and free delivery countrywide. Call us today on 0708 111 105 or SMS to 24900 to place your order. Tujenge Kenya na Kidani Mabati.
My name is Michael Olunga. Watch Sport On every Monday, 10 p.m. on NTV.
Claiming your visit UFAA website www.ufaa.go.ke or dial *361# or visit Huduma Center near you.
Welcome back to the show. Of course, we had asked you in the beginning what more can be done to attract fans, given the fact that it was an interesting and, of course, commendable turnout in yesterday's clash between Gor Mahia and the FC Leopards in the Mashemeji Derby. And from that success, what do you think can be done? What more can be done? This is all possible, Oscar. Derby to be played every weekend. It's a bit ambitious. The players will be tired.
Maybe we need to explain how the league works.
Yes, yes. Unless it's only the 2 teams competing in the league.
Match fixing iishe na watengeneze stadium like Thika Stadium irudi to its glory days. Now I agree with the fact of the stadiums. Match fixing, yes, because we had a case a few weeks ago that's something we need to sort out. But yes, the stadiums need to go. We need to have a semblance of good stadiums. If you see Thika Stadium today, Municipal Stadium, it's in a terrible state. City Stadium has been closed for a while. Mombasa Municipal Stadium, terrible. We need to get. You see, that's why I said it's a product. Part of the product is the pitches. Our pitches are terrible.
And the things about stadiums, for me, I feel like they should avoid this thing of trying to make, I don't know, 15,000 capacity, make it even 4,000 capacity. Small numbers, but it's compact.
And it's neat.
And it's
good. It's got good grass.
Exactly.
It's good for TV. It's got the basics
everything,
right.
Yes. And the lighting as well, which is very critical as well.
Yeah, hey, the lighting is. Even that Nyayo Stadium has no lighting. Yeah.
Some more feedback. Of course, just same sentiments with the previous one. The issue of fixing, which seems to be something that's just simmering.
Yes, because remember what, 2 weeks ago,
yes,
that FKF provisionally suspended a huge number of players.
About 15 or so.
Said this, and remember last year but one, we had another case, 2019, we had another case. So it's something that we need to sort out. It's something that we need to make sure we take clear of, because we've seen funny things. Even yesterday, there was a funny thing happened in one of the games, and people there are all these things going around about what they think may or may not have happened. So yes, it's something we need to worry about.
But I'm trying to understand also the connection in terms of, if you remove match fix, how prevalent is it so that you would say that would help people to come to the stadiums?
Yeah, because so that you at least you know what you're doing, what the game you're seeing is the actual game. Yeah, it's legit.
There's nothing funny happening.
Yeah, it's not been predetermined.
So Daniel, back to the interview. You were just giving us a sense of how the rules are, the substitutes. You've given us an idea of how the substitutes are done, and even how in terms of preparation, like for yourself, which team do you play for, and how? I'm trying to understand, like, in terms of their rivalries, because you see, like, there's the Mashemeji Derby. Yeah. We have Gor Mahia versus FC Leopards. We also have Kenya Police when they're playing against Ulinzi. There's that discipline forces kind of derby. Yeah. How is it for Kabaddi? Do you have such things as well, similar hype?
Yeah, of course it has to be there. And I didn't understand. Are you asking the team I'm playing for?
Yes.
What this coming league or?
Yes.
Okay, I'm playing for JKUAT.
Yes.
I'm playing for JKUAT, and my rival is Zuma.
Exactly.
So Zuma plays for which team?
Nairobi team.
So you know rivalry.
Yes.
Okay.
Neighbors.
So are there such storylines as well?
Yeah, of course there is. Of course there is, but maybe
what I can say, what I can add, whatever, there is also derbies in Kabaddi, because as you can find, we are trying to get that bragging right of Nairobi City, and they are also in Nairobi City. So when we meet each other, we want when the fans goes home, we got the bragging right at the end of the day before we get to the next match. So it always find ourselves, like, when we are playing with them, there is that atmosphere for the derby.
Let me ask the Kenyan question. Is there money locally? Let's start with locally. Is there money?
Money
Lavender,
like...
Is there money? Is it lucrative? Can it put food on your table?
Yeah, so when we have international trips, players get allowances. And also sometimes when we have tournaments like the current league that we're having right now, of course we're having some tokens for the players as transport. Of course we don't have enough as of now, and that's why we're still hoping for the government to come through for us. But yes, there is. Normally when we have international trips like for the World Cup that is coming up, the players are going to get good allowance from the Ministry of Sport.
But that is not sustainable, because the league is starting, it's for almost 1 month, and you spoke about these allowances. Are the players fully professional, or they are doing other things as well? Because from what I've seen for the amount of time that I've been following the game, the people who are able to benefit largely from the game are the ones who are playing professionally out of the country.
Yeah. So right now, you don't have to be available at the arena throughout the day. You only come when you have a game. You only avail yourself the day you're supposed to participate in a game. So the other days when you don't have a game, you can attend to your duties.
So it's not fully pro. It
is not fully.
It's amateur. We'd call it amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could call it amateur. But Zuma, because I know you've done this, you've had an opportunity to play abroad.
Yes.
Tell me, how does that work, and how different is Kabaddi, for example, in India compared to Kenya?
Okay, there is very, very big difference, because there they call it pro. The league in India we can compare it to the soccer in England, the football in England, because there you sign contract, you sign large amount of money, and that's what we want to bring locally. With the launch of the league that we are going to begin tomorrow, it's like a pro league. We are demonstrating something that the Indians are doing, you know. But since this is we have been having leagues, yes, but this one we want to put it like a pro league. We have been having league that we play local teams and county leagues, but now we want to put it as standard 12 team and like a pro league, like a team, like for example Nairobi team, we can buy an Indian player, Iranian player, a UK player. That's what we are going to do from tomorrow. So we are urging also in it's going to be a big thing, like we are inviting even the investors to come in, because this is something that we're gonna put the question you were asking, Daniel, like is Kabaddi fully sustainable?
Yeah, can it sustain you?
Yes, Kabaddi now can sustain players because players are being, when they're playing this league, they're going to sign contracts. They're going to be like when maybe sponsors come in, different companies, and then you sign contracts and then.
How is the money situation in India, for example? Like when you think about, like maybe just give us an idea of how it feels. How is the league like? How is the money like? Like just for people to get a feel of how it, you know, the way when you talk about cricket, we know how it is in India. So yes. When you go to play pro in India, how is it?
Do you know Kabaddi is the second most sport in India after cricket, and recently Kabaddi was trying to overthrow cricket in terms of money and stadium capacity and all that. Kabaddi is knocking head on with the cricket, so it's kind of big threat, and so the investors have really invested in Kabaddi so much that it's something very, if you sign get to sign a contract over there, we have been playing, I can say I've been playing for many like 4 years and stuff. It's huge amount of money. I'm talking like it's huge amount. It's a huge amount of money. And you know Indians when they want to invest in something, so it's huge. So that's what we want to try to demonstrate locally.
I like how you're being guarded we want specifics. Like for example, you can give us a range, like in terms of salaries, in terms of benefits, like for somebody who's playing pro. Because I remember there was a league. I think there was the Bangabadu. There was something that was happening.
Yes.
There was a tournament that was happening in Bangladesh.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of hype around it. We could see it looked very. Similar to there's this big tournament that happens in the IPL.
Yes.
So what salaries are we looking at? Like how lucrative is it?
Like for example, in this the Bangabad thing, it was the national teams coming across the world. But okay, let me give for example for myself my last contract with Partner Pirates in India, the league leaders. I can say it was more than 6 figures, like per season. More than 6 figures, so and also the name, or maybe I can say it was a huge amount of money, maybe because of captain thing and performance in the field. But there are people who can earn even more, like my junior teams that have longer years. We attracted him, and also now he's my teammate at the Partner Pirates in India.
So you both go to India when it's time
when
to
the
go.
season. Yes. Now we want to put it. Now we don't want to go there. We want them to come into our country. That's why we are pulling on the stuff, and then so that.
I'm interested in getting your insights because for playing in India, you've played in India, right?
Yeah.
For one of the clubs, what have you seen there that can be replicated here? Because I think for what you guys are trying to replicate is something similar to what they're doing there. One, in terms of technical skills, how are you trying to replicate that within the Kenyan situation, and also how are you going to make it lucrative as they're doing it? I'm sure even Lavender will answer that.
Well, I think the challenge you're having is that in India they have a lot of sponsors, and Kabaddi started way back in more than I think 60 years back.
Yes.
Yeah. So they almost all Indians play Kabaddi, not like Kenya. You know, us when we come back to Kenya, we struggle to popularize the game. You see. So maybe we're hoping in future, maybe if, after 2 to 3 years, if possible, we get more sponsors and more players to join the. I think when we get more players and more fans, then all other things will follow.
In terms of technical skills.
Yeah. Okay. In India, they have more skills. I admit they have more skills. So when like me, when I go there, I get more skills. Then I come and.
What did you notice that you felt like when you came back home? You're like, okay, fine. I think I need to work on this, and when for other players who are learning the sport, these are certain things that I need to do so that you reach almost that level.
Well, in Kenya, I think many Kenyan players we focus a lot on our fitness than on skills. Many of us go to gym. Most of them are too stiff, like in India, they focus more on skills. You see, so what I think when I come back, I always show them more skills and I discourage them not to go to gym. So not to go to gym more than how they train and skills. Yeah, because when they keep on going to gym daily, day in day out, they will become more stiff, and that hinders us from performing better.
When I look at the rankings, Kenya is 7th in the world.
5th.
5th, okay. The one I'm seeing is slightly older. So Kenya is 5th in the world. That means you are in the middle bracket. So you are with a shout. You are within a shout of winning something at the next World Cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
How possible is it for you to? I know India is the top dog. Almost no one touches India.
Yes.
But how closer can you get to them?
I think we are too close.
Yeah.
We are too close because even in the last World Cup, let me say for me, I participated in the Junior World Cup, and we became number 2 for the silver medal.
Yes.
And from that, when was that? 2019. From 2019 to now, we've trained a lot and we've gained more skills, and we're so confident that we will merge in the top 3 or the top 2. Actually, we're going for gold.
You're going for gold?
Yeah, we are confident. Even if they started in long time ago, we also act as a threat now to the whole world.
We are used to silver.
Lavender, like just to draw back to the question that I asked him in terms of even the connections that you have with some of these established nations, are there partnerships that are being lined up or have already been done already to ensure that we are able to reach almost the same level as what we have like in Bangladesh or in India?
Or in terms of donations? Or
No. In terms of how to be able to make the sport lucrative. Because, you know, you find they have experience playing professionally. They obviously have those networks. And is it something that is similar, that is being done in terms of interactions between the Kenyan Federation, the Indian Federation, the Bangladesh Federation, to be able to make it as lucrative?
Yeah, like in the IKF, the International Kabaddi Federation, they are working on helping Kenyan and Ugandan teams to be able to represent themselves, supporting them through financial ways, because you know our country, as of now, we still don't get enough support from our government, and we're still requesting them to come through for us. Like right now, IKF is going to sponsor the junior and senior team for their tickets and accommodation. So we are waiting for our feedback from the Ministry of Sport to be able to pay a player's allowance so that they can come back and still keep learning the skills and training so that they don't quit. Because nobody wants to go out there, come home empty-handed. So that is one thing that is hindering this sport from growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lavender. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you so much, Haggai, for joining us, giving us a sense of what the sport is all about. Let's shift gears briefly. And Giants of Africa co-founder and the vice chairman and the president of NBA's Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, unveiled 4 basketball courts at Dagoretti High School, Diwopa, Kayole, Umoja 2 Estate in Nairobi, with support from Kensington Tours and 2K Foundations. I had a chance to speak with Masai Ujiri briefly on how these facilities will play a key role in the Giant of Africa's objective of empowering young boys and girls through basketball. So we are privileged to have the co-founder and vice chairman and president of Toronto Raptors. Of course, he's the co-founder as well of Giants of Africa. Joining us on the show, Mr. Masai Ujiri. Habari, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're back in Kenya, of course, doing a lot of amazing things in terms of growing the sport. Tell us about your visit this time around to Kenya.
Thank you, and thank you to Kenya again for welcoming me home. As always, here for a couple of days, we built 3 courts here as in continuation, part of our initiative of building 100 courts around the continent, and we opened a couple on Friday, and now we're here in Umoja, and it's been unbelievable. We were in Mogadishu yesterday, and it's been such an honor, a pleasure to be welcomed into like a incredible community like this. Yes.
Well, NBA has witnessed a lot of interest in growing the sport in the continent. Why in recent years has that been the case?
You know, Adam Silver, Amadou Fall, Victor Williams, all these guys, you know, have incredible passion about the continent, and we don't only see basketball in communities, basketball with the youth, we also see basketball as a business, you know, like we work in the business of basketball, and we know how it can grow and give youth opportunity, you know, like to for jobs and for things they inspire to do. And I think all around the NBA has done an incredible job spreading around the continent. We see the bar league growing. And then things we want to do in the communities, you know, like you want to give youth hope, and we want to do it through sports, because this is our passion. This is what God has given us and the path He has given us. And we have to come back and give back all the time. And for me, it's a priority in my life. It's a priority in my family's life to come back and give back.
Okay. You have a very strong connection with the continent, of course, with your roots, having Kenyan roots, Nigerian roots as well. What do you think needs to be done to be able to generate similar talent from the continent itself, especially in Kenya?
We have to start in communities like this. That's why you put facilities and courts like this. It starts with infrastructure, in my opinion, you know, because I don't know that there's any place in the world that has as much talent as Africa. You know, like Africa's talent is its people, and you can see everywhere the singers, the dancers, the comedians, everything is growing on the continent. We have to provide the infrastructure for them. So we've done youth basketball camps, we do clinics, and then we realize the next phase of this thing is come and build a facility, you know, like in these little places to encourage the youth a little bit more, and you see the talent will even come out more.
Okay. In terms of what, of course, you've said infrastructure is very critical. What about upskilling, the tactical component of the game, the tacticians? You're upskilling the players, you're upskilling the infrastructure, but what about tacticians as well, so that can be cascaded everywhere?
Yes, you need instruction everywhere. You need all the kind of things that you can do to encourage this youth. Yeah, so whether you start from high or whether you start from low, whether you start from coaching, clinics, tacticians, we just need to like increase the scope of the game. And we even want to talk about bigger projects, arenas, those kind of things. I think the business of basketball. And you imagine in a lot of the biggest cities in Africa, including Nairobi, there's no basketball arena. Yes, and we need arenas, we need to create jobs, we need to create revenue, we need to create business with this. And I think, you know, talking to the new government, talking to the governor, I think we're going to even, you know, like rally that even more, you know, like to build more, because I think that's needed not only for the talent, but also for the business of sports, not only in Kenya, but around the continent.
Finally, in terms of creating an ecosystem, because you've talked about infrastructure and to some extent drawing parallels from what the NBA has been able to do, what do you think needs to be done in a country like Kenya to be able to take it to the level, not similar to the NBA, but an ecosystem that is actually flourishing, there's an industry to it?
And that's what you mentioned, absolutely right. It's the ecosystem, right? That's what's going to create jobs. These places, it's going to inspire people even all around, the shop owners. And then when you take it to a bigger scale, you look at an arena, what it can provide. In an arena, you can have all kinds of events, right? Concerts, comedy shows, basketball games, league games, shows, fiestas, meetings, conferences. You create revenue, create money, and you're creating jobs, creating opportunity for these kids that are using sports. And even if they cannot become a professional basketball player, they can work in sports. They can be sports administrators. They can be the CEOs of these arenas. They can manage these facilities. They can be sports journalists. We encourage a lot of that. And then lastly, life skills, you know, like the interaction of sports, it brings peace. This place is going to bring peace, right? It's going to bring people together. That's one thing. There's two things that bring people like that together. It's sports and it's music, right? Yeah, it brings people together. And that's the whole ecosystem that you're building. And now we're going to become even louder about these facilities, arenas, because in Africa, we have to take advantage of it.
Right. Thank you so much. Well, Okabi, that was my interaction there with the Toronto Raptors boss and the co-founder of the Giants of Africa. I think the key takeaway for me is how important sports infrastructure is. We touched on it briefly on other sporting disciplines, but for what I think the main aim for Giants of Africa is first have the facilities, have people playing the game, and then now we move forward.
The question is why? Why is the NBA doing this? Why is the NBA feeling the need to be involved in Umoja, in Kayole, in Rwanda, in Kenya? Why? There must be a good reason why they see it that way. And if they can see it that way from wherever they are, then maybe it's a wake-up call to us to realize there is something here. Because I think everyone looks at Africa as the next frontier. And I feel like the NBA looks at Africa and they think, because the NBA has gone global. If you look at it, look at how many players are from Africa currently. Right, yeah. Whether it's Biombo, whether it's Embiid, who's originally from Cameroon, whether it's Siakam, who's from Cameroon as well. Sajibaka. So there's quite a number of them. Look at the Nigerians also. And it just tells you, they can tell there's something here. I just hope we can pick on what they are doing
yes.
and follow through, because clearly there's something.
There's something they've said.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like how they're going in terms of the areas they're going, the informal areas, because there's a lot of talent in those particular areas, and it has a ripple effect over and above the game itself. Also values, they're trying, those clinics, there's more than just basketball. It's about social skills. And
I think it's almost a mirror of what happens in the US, for example, because when you see most of these players where they start learning the game, of course there are some of them who grow up in privilege, okay, the likes of Steph Curry, but for the likes of Draymond Green, when they tell you where they learned, when you hear their stories, a lot of basketball does start from there. At the community, because like you're saying, the community, it's a bigger group to tap talent from. So, and you're able to do a lot more with just that basketball coach. Not just the basketball, it's the discipline, it's the focus. It's giving hope and showing people that it can be done. Okay, right. Now, let's take a look at the short of the weekend where we focus on an image that captured our attention. And obviously, this one is related to the Mashemeji Derby that happened over the weekend. And this is Gor Mahia versus FC Leopards. You can see Dennis Nganga, Ernest Wendo, and Paulo Tieno trying to protect their territory there, Okabi. Yes, it's a good picture. Really nice to see Wendo still going strong, the guy in jersey 20 there, and Dennis Nganga, who started his football at Nairobi City Stars, if I'm not mistaken. Really good to see them there. And it sort of captures the attention to detail from all of them, and just the focus. Like they're all focusing, waiting for the ball to come in. This tells me quite possibly it's Kogalo defending and Leopards trying to attack, which was most of the game though. When you heard from what both coaches had to say, it was mostly Kogalo doing a lot more maybe of the defending than you should have. But yes, beautiful picture. And look, the Mashemeji Derby is beautiful. Every time you see a picture that has to do with the Mashemeji Derby, it's beautiful. The green and the blue. That is Kenyan football right there. That's the history. That's what our football is anchored on. It's anchored on these two teams. So to see them play well, to see the fans come out, just to see the whole carnival atmosphere and the energy that was around this past weekend. Beautiful picture. Absolutely. And that beautiful picture was taken by Chris Omolo from the Nation newspaper. Now let's focus on interesting things that have been trending online, on the timeline. There's been a lot of conversation about different things. And we begin with the first one there. Of course, this is some interesting banter there. Polisi wa Mumunya Tusker. Kenya Police, of course, victorious against Tusker. That was a hammering 3-0 by the first half. In 22 minutes or so, and it's almost like Tusker just collapsed. Not quite sure what happened there, but Elvis Rupia won't worry a little bit. He got his hat-trick. But also it's the way DCI, because DCI always have these interesting stories they give on social media. And for me, what I like most about it is him saying, Kesho katika Taifa Jumapili. You know, you're paying tribute to Taifa Leo. Yes. Like, yeah, this is what Taifa Leo would say. I think it's really, really beautiful. And of course, the language, Wamumunya Tusker. Yes, really, really of course, that was from the official DCI account. Obviously, there's some relationship with the Kenya Police, and they were just throwing shade at the Brewers. Well, but that's how football is. 3-0 is how it ended in favor of Kenya Police. And this one, of course, is still connected to the Mashemeji Derby, self-explanatory. The Green Army must show you that they know what they're saying. They set the standards, okay? They are called Sirikal for a reason. Yes. So and this is something, it's really, really cheeky. You know, you see it on the Arsenal Jersey Visit Rwanda. So like visit Kondele. So if you know your way around Kisumu, you know Kondele, and you understand the connection with Kogalo and with the whole Nyanza and why Kondele is important. So really, really cheeky. And nice. I loved it. This was very witty. I think it's very creative. And even the font, I think you almost got the font spot on. Yeah, spot on. Anyway, moving on. Now I loved this one. This was a wonderful tribute this is the All Black Sevens, and they actually, after their game, of course, they had hammered Kenya Sevens almost by 30+ points in their group game, but they decided to honor William Ambaka, who decided who announced officially that he's going to hang his boots. Yes, it was really, really good because like we were saying off air, how many Sevens players do you know they are retiring? And Sevens is played world over, but for you to see the two Kenyan greats who've announced their retirement this week, and for the New Zealand, which is the Brazil of rugby, it's the home of rugby, it's the country where rugby is concerned, for them to take their time to say, thank you so much, well done, congratulations, you've done well, it's beautiful. And it's another case of what we were talking about, setting a narrative, telling a narrative. World Rugby took this from when Collins announced his retirement to when Willie announced that he was quitting Sevens, and made sure the whole world understood and appreciated that these two giants of Kenyan rugby are quitting. I think it's beautiful, and of course New Zealand just cap it all.
Right, that is William Ambaka just receiving an All Black Sevens jersey from the All Black Sevens captain, just to appreciate his service for the national rugby sevens team, as well as 15s. And remember, he's also played professionally in Europe and also in South Africa, and also he's played, I think, the second Kenyan to play professionally in New Zealand. Let's have a look at another interesting thing that has been on the timeline now. This one is obviously a dig at Liverpool. They hit, there's something I read somewhere, and I think it encapsulates what Liverpool have been going through. It's called full speed reverse.
It just tells you everything of what Klopp is feeling. Nunez can't seem to hit the target. What Mo Salah is thinking and looking at Sadio Mane and seeing what might have been missing him. It's just a beautiful thing done by Bleacher Report, and just sort of makes it's humor. It's a nice humorous look at what are the problems at Liverpool, whether it's injuries, whether it's lack of goals, whether it's missing Sadio Mane, whether it's Klopp not knowing what to do. It's just a nice, good thing. This is some of those things that you see on social media that make you smile. So yes, kudos to Bleacher Report right there. They were spot on. And
I love cartoons, so I think for me it was amazing because I love the artwork, the design that they've drawn it. It reminds me of another interesting cartoon I love watching, but I'll be sharing. I'll try and remember which one it is. It reminds me of. Now let's have a. My director tells me Kids Next Door. Actually, it does look kind of like Kids Next Door. Yeah, that. My director is an old school. Old school. Umefichua. This is another one here. This is Inaki Williams will miss his first league game for Athletic Club in 7 years. Why is this phenomenal?
Because he hasn't missed a game for the last 251 appearances. Wow. He's played every single game for the last 7 years, and it's the first time that he missed a game over the weekend. It was so big because this run has been going on and on and on. Talk about durability.
Was a person.
Yes, durability. He's there every single day, and they say the first quality of any star is availability. He's always available.
No injuries or anything?
Plays through them all the way through it. This is the first time it's happened in 7 years. And remember, he only agreed to play for Ghana just before the World Cup. So a guy who just keeps on going and going and going.
Workhorse indeed. We have another one here, another sentiment, interesting feedback here. There we go. And this one is a dig at Chelsea. This is a team photo when the transfer window closes tomorrow.
Yes, because they can't just stop signing players. There's a player every second day, and another player, and another player.
You don't like it.
Yes, so it's a nice good dig at how many players they are signing. Currently, news coming on today that they're still chasing Enzo Fernandez, the Argentine midfielder who won the World Cup, and they're still pushing. Yes. So they are not done yet. They keep signing and signing. The likes of Mudryk, the likes of Fofana, they've just been signing and signing. And this picture is sort of a nice good dig at so many players. Where are they going to fit? Just look at the numbers in that picture.
I think, and you know the thing is, just to be clear, this is a cropped photo. So if you had the full landscape, so it means the other players in the fringes. Possible.
It's really good.
Let's have one final one. And
this is even funnier. I think it comes from one of those movies, if I'm not mistaken, yes?
I'm trying to remember which one. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger and...
I'm not sure which one.
And Sylvester Stallone. I don't know if it's the Expendables. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be.
Looks like it's Expendables.
Might be Expendables. But it sort of tells the story. I mean, two giants who unfortunately had a rough weekend. So on one side you've got Schwarzenegger, on the other side you've got Sylvester Stallone. And they're both like, I know what you're going through.
There's so many interesting things I can say about this. You know, there's that phrase for strange bedfellows. These are familiar bedfellows.
Yeah.
Waarabu wa Pemba hujuana kwa vilemba. That's a Swahili one.
It's just and that's why social media can be very interesting, because when you look at it and you think about the way that someone is able to come up with this, and troll football are great at it. They're always finding things and interesting memes, and you can almost relate to it, because you'd think AC Milan, reigning champions, terrible. They were beaten 5-2. By Sassuolo. Then you think about Liverpool, lost yet again to Brighton. So you understand both of them giants, maybe just not current giants, or giants that are limping. In this case, bedridden.
Spot on. Spot on, Okabi. Thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed as well. We definitely enjoyed. Hopefully we'll be able to see you again next week. And for the entire team who made the production possible, have a sporty week ahead.